Hi and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to go through a natural base. I think base can be seen as boring, but base is also very essential. And no matter how many videos you watch, I think sometimes base can still be the most complicated thing to get right. By base, I mean achieving a flawless look with a natural finish, because you don't want to necessarily look like you're caked in makeup. But sometimes achieving that natural flawless look doesn't necessarily mean you use minimal products. So today I'll be going through what I use to create a flawless base. And actually it's come at the perfect time because I'm breaking out where I normally wouldn't break out, and I've got a little bit of redness on my skin. So right now it's the best time to do this video. I also wanted to apologize about this backdrop. There's a lot of things going on at the moment in terms of renovation in the house. So very soon I'll be excited to reveal a much cleaner and presentable background, but for now please bear with this backdrop. And the same goes with my hair, which is what I call the lockdown hair. It's very messy, but you guys can understand because hair salons aren't really open at the moment. So let's get stuck into creating this flawless base. I'm going to first go in with Burberry's Fresh Glow Gel Stick, which looks like this. I'm going to be using the colour Ochre Nude, otherwise known as number 12. So it's just a twist up creamy foundation. And what I generally tend to find is that it's better if you apply with either tapping action or with a brush and stamping it on, rather than drawing all over your face the stripes, because that's where the makeup will be a lot heavier. So if you want to create a natural finish, I would definitely recommend using the two methods that I mentioned previously. Also, skincare is so fundamental. So depending on what kind of finish you want, if you want a matte finish, go for like a gel, oil-free cream. If you want that dewy glow, definitely go in with a much more moisturizing, richer texture cream. So I go in, because I have dry skin as well, with the Bobbi Extra Repair Moisturizing Balm. This is quite rich, but it also ensures that it naturally leaves a dewy finish. Your skin is hydrated all day, and it just gives me a much more dewy finish with the Burberry Glow Stick. And sometimes dewier just looks natural rather than matte, because your skin is not naturally matte. I go in with my ItCosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion Perfection Brush. I will list all the products in the description below as well. I just apply it to the main bit of my brush, and I'm just going to stamp it on. You'll have to excuse me because I'll be looking at my own reflection as well as the mirror. To be honest, the stamping motion is even more essential if you've got dry skin or texturized skin, because by stamping it, it's not going to disrupt the base underneath and bring up the texture that can sometimes come with dry skin. So that stamp, stamp, stamp will create a flawless finish. This is also considered a concealer, so feel free to blend under your eyes as well. I will be going in with a separate concealer, but I just wanted to make sure you're aware of this additional use of this foundation. So you can see my skin looks the same, the color match is perfect, but where I have a little bit of imperfections on this side, here is a lot more clean. So again, just put it onto the brush. Let's do this side. Stamp, stamp, stamp. If you don't have texturized skin and you're lucky not to, you can just mush it in, what I like to call mushing in, but I generally do prefer the stamping motion. If it isn't already obvious, I've already done my brows, my liner, and my eyes in general. I really wanted to make today's video about the base, and in my future videos I will cover eyes and a full look as well. Some people like to blend the foundation onto the neck. I don't like to do that, because if I'm wearing, say, a shirt like the one I'm wearing now, a scarf, some kind of, clothing or fabric around my neck and chest area, I don't want to get foundation on it. Plus, if you're being matched to the right tone and shade of foundation, you shouldn't have to apply it to the neck. You shouldn't have to be one color on the face and one color on the neck. When matching a foundation, I would definitely say do the 3 swipes trick, which is 3 swipes here, 3 swipes on the forehead, and 3 swipes on the chin. just because the center of your face is where you generally have the most pigmentation. Forehead, because that's where we tend to be the warmest. And around the mouth, again, we can have pigmentation. It could be any number of problems. I tend to find that women have a lot of issues around the mouth to do with hormones. So again, 3 swipes on the chin is a really good area as well to determine what shade will be best for you. Then I'm going to go in with the Glossier Stretch Concealer in G10. I generally prefer to use liquid concealers, but I purchased this quite a while ago and it's just sort of been sitting on my shelf. And the other day I just needed to quickly put some makeup on, so I quickly picked it up and dab, and I thought, oh, that's quite a nice concealer. So I've been using this. It's a medium coverage concealer, and I definitely prefer to use my fingers. So I go in with my ring finger and I just dab under my eye, and the same on this side. And really, you can build up the coverage as much or as little as you like so. Don't be afraid to take it down slightly to like the cheek and cheekbone area, because it's that part of the face, like the center part, should always be brightened anyway. The trick with concealer is ideally half a shade, at most 1 shade lighter than your foundation, just so that it brightens up the under eye area. The brighter your under eye area, the better the sleep you look like you've had. So even if you look like crap, your concealer will save the day. If it's too light, it looks artificial, and if it's too much of the same color or worse, darker, it will do nothing for your under eye area. So you can see it just blends in really seamlessly, and using your ring finger will just help to gently blend everything in, melt the product onto the skin. And we use the ring finger because it's supposed to be the softest touch out of all your fingers, the less pressure. Don't know if it's true, but you can Google it. So this is enough coverage for me, generally, if I want something very natural. In case you want a slightly more coverage for any areas that are still a little bit imperfect, you have 2 options. I will either go in with a creamy concealer or a foundation powder. So with the creamy concealer, I use the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. It's in Crema Catalana, very exotic sounding name, and it's great for spot concealing. So if you have anywhere like I do, little Molly over here, that's what I call it, you can just spot conceal and cover up your sins that way. The worst thing you can do is when you have lots of acne, or not even lots, but just a couple of hormonal spots on your skin, is to apply that thick full coverage foundation and your skin's not able to breathe. So really what you want to do is what I've just shown you, apply a very light layer and then spot conceal afterwards, and in the same shade as your foundation. Otherwise you will see everything. You might as well just highlight the spot going, I've got one here, I've got one here, I've got one there. So the same shade as your foundation is so important. Alternatively, you can use a powder foundation like this Uemura one. Powder foundations, people sometimes get a little bit scared because they think, oh, dry, cakey, powdery. It depends how you apply it and where you apply it and what brush you apply it with. So I go in with my Bobbi Brown brush, much loved, and it's quite a soft powder brush with natural bristles, and that just helps to disperse the powder more evenly, softly, lets you have more control of the product as well. So I tend to have more pigmentation around my cheeks, and what I mean by that is I have more redness around my cheeks, nose area, chin, and there. Don't ask me why, it's weird. So I always just tap on a little bit of the product onto the brush, tap off. Try not to blow onto the brush because I see so many of my friends doing that and it's really unhygienic. So try to just get into the habit of dusting off. And then just again with that tapping motion, go in. The thing is, if you apply the right base, it won't dull you out or make you matte, if that makes sense. And always the trick is layering. So it's not go in with lots of product, just go in with a little bit, apply, and then you can always add as you go along. This weird area. If you have random spots that you want to conceal with the same powder, I would suggest going in with a smaller brush like the Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Touch Up brush, because it just helps you to really get into the nooks and crannies, like so. and around the nose area, where I tend to get a lot of redness. Also, by doing this, you're going to make sure that your makeup stays put for longer. I will, by the way, list all the brushes I'm using as well in order that I'm using it. So that's the base. And as you can see, it still looks quite natural, still face and neck the same colour. And I'm hoping you will also see that there is slightly more coverage, but it's still natural. Where I haven't added any foundation on my forehead, you barely can tell the difference between my forehead and my cheeks, which is what you want, but at the same time it's a little bit more flawless than just using the Burberry glow stick on its own. Next, we come to the fun part, contouring. So when we say contouring, people imagine Kim Kardashian. Let's just be honest, let's face it, the Kim Kardashians, although contouring was around way before them, even in Cleopatra times, they made it a thing. So sometimes people who are a little bit more on the natural side of beauty can get a little bit scared of contouring. Whenever I used to think of Kardashians and contouring, I used to get images of, you know, the Lion King and the stripes on their face. That's not what we want. We want to do the traditional form of contouring. So I tend to use the Kevyn Aucoin sculpting powder in light. This is what it looks like. It's quite small, quite dinky, but it lasts ages because it's powder. So that's what it looks like. Light might seem like it may be too nothing and might not show up on your skin. However, if you're fair to medium toned like I am, then light is enough. What you don't want is this really dark brown shade on your face where it's A, too visible, B, even harder to blend out. Contouring should mimic a shadow on your face because you want to have that more sculpted look, like this is called. So you want that pulled in look, not I literally look like a zebra's cousin. So I use this product with my beloved Nars Eater brush, tap off the excess, and I just try to find the natural contour in my face, just where my cheekbone is. Normally it's at the top of your ear and sort of going halfway. So you can do the fish face if you want, like so. And again, the trick is a little bit of powder and then building upon it if you feel the need to. So hopefully you'll see that there's a little bit of shading on my face. Can you see? I didn't wake up like this. And you'll also notice I'm blending upwards rather than downwards because you don't want it to look saggy. So you want that lift. Don't be afraid to take it into your hairline, even high above your temple area, like so. In my case, I have the triple chin syndrome, so I like to take it underneath and just go boo 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 as if I'm sanding the wall. And it's literally just underneath my chin. And again, the colour is perfect because it's a cool tone, by the way. You don't want a warm tone contour. Mimicking shadow, and just gently blend it in. And it will just give a more pulled in look. After that, if you need to, or maybe you've applied too much product, using either the same foundation brush that's got the remaining foundation on it, creamy foundation, don't apply any more than what's on there, you don't need to. Alternatively, the same powder brush that you used earlier to add a bit more coverage, don't apply any more product and literally just softly blend out the edges. And what that will do is just instantly make it seamless, looking like it's part of your skin, like so. Then comes the bronzing. I love the bronzing powder in Golden Light by Bobbi Brown. This is limited edition packaging. And I go in with the Bobbi Brown bronzing powder, which is mahoosive and looks like this. And I'm sure you guys are experts on bronzing already, but generally the rule is that 3 or E, whichever one you prefer. The trick with bronzing is not to apply it all over the face. It's really to emphasize the high points of your face, like your cheek area, the forehead, and give you that I've just been to the Maldives look, even if you've only ever seen pictures of it in a magazine like I have. And really, you want the center of your face to be the brightest area. That's also what's going to make it look more youthful and fresh. So it just gives a touch more warmth, which is lovely. Next, I'm going to go in with the Dolce & Gabbana Solo Glow Illuminating Powder Duo in Peach Blossom. It looks like this. It's absolutely gorgeous. This obviously is more of a, as the name says, illuminating blush, and it doesn't look shimmery. It's just a glow. It just leaves this gorgeous glow on your skin. I like to just mix the two together. So I just swipe my Bobbi Brown blush brush across the two shades. By the way, it seems like I'm really promoting Bobbi Brown, but I just genuinely love their brushes. So smile. I call it the creepy smile. And you almost have to smile at yourself in the mirror, which might seem a bit awkward. And you apply it on the high point of your cheeks and blend it out. So always start at the center. And I'm using very delicate action. Sorry, I'm not facing you. I just need to look at myself in the mirror so I don't look like a Krusty the Clown. But you can see that lift. I love blush because it instantly just brings lift to the face and makes you look so healthy. Like, I've just been for a run, I'm so healthy and glowy, but really you've just been sitting snacking on the sofa all day, which is me. Same with the other side. Creepy smile. And I just find that illuminating blush really works in the summertime when when you're out, you've got your really massive sunglasses on, the sunlight hits your face and you're like, and you just feel great. You just feel like, oh, my skin looks so wonderful. Again, you don't want to look like Aunt Sally. So I would definitely suggest you do the same thing that you did with contouring, which is use either one of the foundation brushes or the powder brushes just to gently blend out the edges. That's the key with natural looking makeup, is making sure you don't have any lines. Everything is seamless. Everything is sort of meshing in with one another. It's like a happy marriage. Like so. So hopefully you can see that it looks very fresh. I still look glowy, by the way, and that's a key thing. The fact that I applied a matte powder, foundation powder, and it still looks glowy, because really, yes, the blush is illuminating, but the base underneath, really the skincare, which was what I was talking about in the beginning, is the most important thing and why my skin still looks glowy. Normally you'd think, okay, that's enough for base. Not in my case. I definitely need some highlight. So if I want subtle highlight, which is not very often, I go in with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. So it comes in 3 shades like this. You have to excuse the state of it, it's well loved. And I go in with my ItCosmetics. It's a very long name, by the way, so I will just write it down below. And what I tend to do is just swipe against all 3 colours, tap off the excess and do the swiping motion. Sweep, swipe, swipe. Don't neglect the temple. And can you see that glow? So even though I have a glow on this side of my face, you can see this side is a lot more glowier. The thing I love about this Hourglass lighting palette is that it's not powdery looking. I hate powdery looking shimmers or glows or highlighters. So again, swipe, swipe, and it's just beautiful. It almost looks a bit wet, and that's what you want without the wet sticky feeling. Now if you want to amp it up, I'm going to take you there. I have so many highlighters. I am obsessed, but right now my current favorite is the Ochre by Samantha March collaboration highlighter, Star Inspired. I absolutely love this highlighter palette, and I got it just because of the highlight. How gorgeous is that? And almost like if you stare at it for ages, I feel like I'm being hypnotized by it, but it's so gorgeous. And I am shameless. I'm that shameless person that will look at something, think, oh, it looks pretty, and buy it. But in this case, I was so fortunate that it was actually a decent highlighter as well. So I go in with my Too Faced highlighting powder brush, and it looks like a diamond, which is very cute. I swirl all the colors together gently, tap off the excess, and this time I want to concentrate just here, just the highest point. So gently rub it and go up just to above the temple. Can you see that? again here. Now if you want to, and you are that girl that likes highlight on her nose, go for it. I sometimes think putting highlighter on the nose looks very makeup-y and it looks very Instagrammy. So if you want to, maybe just do like a boop and just a tiny bit, not too much. The whole point of this look is to remain as natural looking as possible. The same goes with the Cupid's bow, but again, maybe you can just dab a little bit on the top. If you're wondering why people do that, it just makes the lips look a little bit bigger, allegedly. So this is my base. By the way, the lighting in this video has been crazy. I'm in London and there's been a storm today. So when I say storm, I mean heavy rain, almost felt torrential. Then there was thunder and lightning and I thought I was going to die. And then suddenly, whilst I'm filming, the sun came out. So it's been very mixed emotions with the weather and lighting today. So as you can hopefully see, my skin is looking still very natural. I would hope you agree that it looks flawless. So there's only 2 more steps left in the skin. You're like, 2 more steps? But honestly, I promise you, like, I'm talking right now. I'm trying to explain, have a bit of a chit chat in between. But normally when I'm doing this by myself, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops. So it's not a long time. And I promise you it's worth the effort. And all the layering is what helps your makeup to basically stay on for the whole day and not budge. I then go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder in Fair. They, I believe, only have fair, medium and dark, and she really needs to improve upon that, but that's another video for another time. But I started with medium and it just looked orangey on my skin. And the thing with setting powder is that you want to ensure that it just disappears into your skin. You don't want it to look ashy on your skin, and by ashy I mean slightly grey and dull. At the same time, you don't want it to look orangey or darker than your natural skin tone. Setting powder is supposed to just look invisible. That is literally the only point of setting powder, is to look invisible, so that you can just set your powder and mattify everything. By the way, I'm not going to apply it all over, as I don't believe in all over powdering, so I'll show you what my technique is. So I go in with the soft highlighting powder brush by Beauty Pie. This is a great brush for highlighting, but I use it for powdering, which is even better. So again, dust off the excess. I like to do what I call spot powdering, so only in certain areas. I go under my eyes. Why would I apply a powder all over to ultimately mattify all this glorious glow that I've tried to achieve? By using a smaller brush, it will help you to spot powder certain areas where you are likely to get oily, like your T-zone, without dulling your face or makeup. Powdering under your eyes will just set your concealer as well. You can see it's not mattified the skin, but it's just taken away any shine on the T-zone. And this is something that I would carry in my handbag. And unfortunately, it doesn't come with a sponge. So I literally just buy, you know, those disposable sponges that you can just buy in any good makeup shop. And I just keep it in there, and it does close with it in there. I am happy with the finish of my base and final look. However, if there are those odd occasions where you're particularly texturized, or somehow something's not right, your pores just look bigger, the makeup just looks like makeup is sitting on your skin, and or very powdery, I would suggest using a face mist. The one I would highly recommend is the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus spray. I think they come in different scents, but I really like the rose one because it just smells more natural and fresh. So what I would just suggest is generously spritzing it to your face, eyes closed. So nice. And because I'm extra, I'm going to use a fan just to dry it. I've tried fanning it with my hands, with different items like books, you name it, I've tried it. But something about using a fan, I just feel like it evenly dries the makeup and the skin. The reason why I prefer this to something like Urban Decay All Night Spray is I feel like with that, there's no real skincare ingredients and it's doing more harm on your skin than good. You might as well put like hairspray on your face. That's how I feel. Yes, it will probably help your makeup last longer than this Fix Plus spray, but really, I'm not going to be partying for 15 hours, so this is good enough for me. So there you go. That will just take away any extra powderiness, texture, whatever it may be, that's making your makeup look unnatural. If you want to, you could spritz a certain place and literally just dab it with your finger just to melt the product in a little bit further and make it look more natural. And all that's really left is lips. To continue with the natural theme, I put on a little bit of gloss, natural looking gloss by Pat McGrath. It's the Lust Gloss in Flesh Astral. Flesh Astral. And it looks a little bit like this. So it's a very subtle colour, but it's super pretty. It's got slight peachy undertone. The only thing I'm not so keen about it is that it smells of vanilla, which for me, I'm not a fan when lip products have vanilla in it, which is 99% of lip products. But it's such a gorgeous colour. You can wear it with a natural look like I am today, or even better with a nice smoky eye so that you have that balance. So I hope you enjoyed my video on achieving a flawless base with a natural finish. And before I go, just wanted to pop my Instagram handle on the screen right now. So please do follow me for more content, as I do create IGTV as well. But like I said, I will be creating more content on YouTube separately, and it won't always be the same theme. So please just follow me on Instagram so that you have an eye on both accounts and in case I come up with new content. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.